All right, so welcome back. It's still Healthy Morning Live on HSTV. Moving away from the sports segment, we're going straight into the In Focus segment. So, as of last week through till now, we've been talking about peace and sanity in senior high schools and tertiary. Because lately, we're not hearing good stories and news coming in. Definitely, kids are fighting against each other. And finally, we get to have the National Peace Council right here with us today to have a conversation. Let's see how far they've gone and what measures and things they've put in place in order to curb all these situations happening in our tertiary and senior high schools. So right here in the studios, I have Asemefa Asimenu. She is the Principal Administrative Manager for National Peace Council, and also Mrs. Janet Sane Kuma. She is the Capacity Development and Outreach. So peaceful coexistence in SHS. Director, I might say. And my mom is Jane. Yeah, so good morning, ladies. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, good morning.
Please, I hope you're doing well.
Yes, we are doing fine.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Really humbled having you in the studios today to have this conversation. Let's just break the ice. When we talk about the National Peace Council, who are they or what is it about?
Okay.
Let me start from Madam Janet.
All right. So, the National Peace Council is a statutory body, institution that has been, we are governed by Act 818, an Act of Parliament. Yes, and the Act was passed in 2011, but we actually started operations as a statutory body in 2013. But it already existed before it became a statutory body. It had been started in 2006.
Okay.
But it became a statutory body in 2011 and started operations as a statutory body in 2013.
Okay,
yes.
Quite interesting. So why that break? Because looking at the interval.
Yes, the peace architecture came up out of real life situations. There were a lot of situations up north where, like the Dagbon conflict and other conflicts, and they had some way they were managing. They had peace mediation platforms, that were set up, peace advisory committees that were created in regions. Okay. And mostly in the northern regions. Okay. That time, Ghana used to be 10 regions. And they were managing, they were SICATEPs and then UNDP and other government functionaries. They were trying to manage these conflicts. Okay. But it came to a point when they realized that, no, we needed an architecture that could manage conflicts within the country, because we couldn't just keep on doing it the ad hoc way. And out of that idea came the Peace Council.
Quite interesting.
Yeah, so they started it in 2006, but finally got the assent and were able to get it as a statutory body in 2011, so that it could, to set up any office takes time.
Exactly.
You need to get office space, you need to put things in place. So when everything was in place, it was 2013. And so it took off in 2013.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right, so I want to come to you, Asemefa. You have to do with the administrative stuff. We just want you to enlighten us on what you do in contribution to Peace Council.
Okay, thank you. The National Peace Council has a mandate.
Okay.
Our mandate is to facilitate and develop mechanisms for conflict prevention, management, resolution, and to build sustainable peace in the country.
Okay.
So, like Madam Janet rightly said, we are backed by an Act of Parliament, Act 818, and in the Act outlines some functions of the Peace Council. If you permit me, I can read a few for you.
Sure.
So the National Peace Council is supposed to harmonize and coordinate conflict prevention, management, resolution, and to build sustainable peace through network and coordination. We are also supposed to strengthen capacity for conflict prevention, management, resolution, and sustainable peace in the country, including but not limited to chiefs, women, youth group, and community organizations. So I'm sure the reason you called us here is because of the youth.
Yes.
So our acts actually mandate us, or one of the functions of the Peace Council is to work with the youth, women chiefs, youth group, women chiefs, community organizations to build the peace of the country. Yeah.
That's interesting. And I will come to you, Madam
Yes.
Janet. Looking at what you do, talking about outreach and all
Yes.
that, I know it's not been easy each and every time you're trying to resolve, conflict within a various space.
Yes.
Let's talk about some challenges you face and how you've been able to overcome them.
Yes. So the interesting thing is that we have different parts, even within the Peace Council, we have different departments. My department deals with the preventive side, which is to educate and sensitize, and also to build capacities of peace actors. Who do we think is a peace actor? We have to be real. Peace is not one man's business. And no one organization can manage all peace things without other people's help. So we realize that we have so many people into peace. The churches, the mosques, we have SCSOs, we have normal people who are doing peace work. And so those are the people we are calling peace actors. So what do? We coordinate all these people, so that we build their capacities. So the little peace work they are doing at different points, they can do it better. And by so doing, we are achieving peace as a country. Yes.
And looking at the statistics that came in, I know we're second, but now we moved to fourth,
yes.
which is dropping, and
Yes.
I think it's quite disturbing.
It's quite disturbing.
Let's just explain the reason why it's happened so.
Well, we cannot definitely just explain the reason, but we can give hints
about it. Okay.
Yeah, I think that many things have gone on in the country lately. I think the economic situation hasn't been too good. And based on that, we have seen that pensioners and other people were picketing at the finance ministry. And we have seen that there have been attacks on bullion bands where policemen and things have been killed, not once, but many several times. We have seen the Boko conflict coming up again. And we have seen maybe little pockets of tension. And so those are some of the indicators they are measuring. And apart from that, we ourselves as Ghanaians, how do we sell ourselves on social media and media spaces? If we keep on presenting ourselves as the worst country you can be in, of course, the international media, they are also willing to measure you based on what you yourselves are saying. And so it's very important that we do not, yes, we should say the truth, but we should not exaggerate things. If the thing is not so bad, we shouldn't go online creating all kind of havoc, you understand, making it look like Ghana is the worst place to be. Yes. So we should be measured in what we say online about the country, because they are also measuring based on some of these things. So we need to, what is wrong, yes, of course we must say it, but we should not over-exaggerate.
Yes, so as of last week through till now, we've always been talking about students writing the exam, and we've been seeing videos circulating on social media, people fighting. As at the University of Energy, we saw one guy who was really hurt in the eye, and moving into Adisadel College, two students fighting each and every time. Now let's come to the youth, because it's very disturbing and very worrying. We wake up thinking maybe politicians are going to channel their energy there and ensuring that we have a safe and sound environment, but we are not seeing it happening this time around. Talking about the youth, I want to come to you, Mrs. Let's discuss this issue. What are the measures you've been able to put in place? Because I know your mothers too. It's very alarming when we see all these things. What are we doing about it?
So the Peace Council, as I said earlier on, our acts mandate us to work with the youth, women, and civil society. So currently the Peace Council is undergoing an outreach program in some secondary schools. We have been to Accra High School, We have been to Laboni Senior High. We have been to the Aquinas, St. Thomas Aquinas Senior High, Osu Presec, Accra Academy, and we've outlined some schools as well. We'll be going to before the end of August. So our message, we carry our message to them on peace building and peaceful coexistence. We also speak to them about tolerance, because they need to tolerate one another. And also we try to educate them and also make them see the need to establish some form of cordial relationship among themselves, and also to help promote the peace. We believe that one of the reasons we have decided to take our peace messages to the senior high schools is the reason you stated first of all. And also we believe that Ghana has a bright future, and the youth are the future of this country. So we have this policy of catching them young. So we believe if we, interact with them at this level, they would, grow up with it. And
definitely.
yes, and we're trying so hard to curb some of these situations.
Yeah, so we've had a chance to, solicit the views of some Ghanaians with regards to these issues. And listening to some parents, most of them, or the people we spoke to, they came out saying that they believe these things start from our home. Talking about child and parent relation, how these kids are brought up, and if they don't have the right training, definitely when they move into senior high schools, it really shows up with the bad acts and all that. Let's talk about the homes as well. Definitely, I know we are, as you mentioned, we are peace actors. That's the term you use. Do you think lately the training at home is effective, or is it done right? Why are the kids picking up such behaviors when they go to senior high schools?
Yes, I think that, yes, it's good. It's necessary. I mean, that good training, good citizen training in general should be given to all children, right from nursery through the primary, through the GSS, through the senior high, right through the universities. And we should also remember that it's not only, the youth only do not exist in schools. There are youth who are outside schools. So we need youth programs for children and people at different levels. And the National Peace Council has been doing quite a lot. In fact, in the past, we helped the National Youth Authority to develop a peace charter for the youth. That was in 2020. We did that with them. We have had quite a number of trainings for youth and women in conflict areas. We have also had training for youth on violent extremism and other things in the universities and things like that. But we can't, the parents have a role, definitely have a role to play. We cannot run away from that. We need to train our children well. Because they are future leaders, and they are hope, you understand. And apart from that, we should know that sometimes youth, they are exuberant. You can't take it away from that. That is how God has made us at a certain stage. And so I think some of our trainings would also help them. Conflict is natural.
Exactly.
You cannot stop conflict. No two people are the same. But you can teach them to manage conflicts. You can teach them you can try to manage bullying and some of these things in the schools. And if they are able to understand some of these things, they'll probably behave a bit better. We cannot, as human beings, you definitely find someone who do something wrong, no matter what you tell them. No matter what the parents tell them, the teachers tell them, some people are just natural deviants. They will deviate. But I think majority, if they are given the good direction, they will choose it.
Great.
Yeah, so we need to keep on hammering it down. We don't have to give up. because it's natural for youth to be exuberant, but we just keep on guiding them, keep on guiding them, keep on teaching them. It will be better.
I also, yes, I want to add something to what Madam Jeanette just said. I believe that when there is peace at home, it will trickle down to the community or wherever they find themselves. So I think that parents, first of all, no matter your economic status in this country, you should be able to instill some kind of discipline in your child. Do it in such a way that the child should not see mommy or daddy before they behave well. So parents should, I'm appealing to parents through this medium to instill some kind of discipline and principles into the kids so that even if mommy is not around, daddy is not around, they will behave well. Most of the time, when they see their parent, the behavior they put up is different from what they put up when they meet their friends or where they go out. So, but I also know that some parents are also doing so well. They instill some kind of discipline in them, whether in Ghana or abroad. Some children even have to seek advice from their parents before they do certain things. So let's try, because parents should help us. We cannot do it all alone. The teachers cannot do it all alone. So we are appealing to our parents to also help in instilling discipline and some kind of principles into the children, that wherever they are, they would, abide by. Yes.
And then again, I believe the parents should also agree with the teachers. Some parents, even when in some of the schools, they say the parents will come and fight with the teachers when they are trying to instill the discipline. So the parents should agree, you understand, that the purpose of the teacher is to put the child on the right path. You understand? But if your child just come and tell you that the teacher beats me and you're going to fight the teacher, it doesn't help anything.
We even had one parent here. We went to the street to talk to a parent, and in Chi, you see,
you see.
Wow.
Yes. So it doesn't help. So within the community, the parents should help the schools to be able to ensure that their children are disciplined and well behaved. They need not only the one parent, but communal strength. Yes. The community should support, especially when you get to the rural areas. I know the communities do a lot of help to teachers and things. They should keep on doing that because it encourages them to do more. And I also want to let you know that the training that we are giving currently is not peculiar to only Accra. We have 16 regions, and each region has a regional peace council. They are duplicating those efforts in each region. Yes, so it's all over.
All right, so in line with the conversation we're having, we took to the streets to solicit the views of the public. Let's go check these videos out.
In our schools, our public senior high schools, what is happening these days? Well, news have been coming in recently that students have started bullying each other, from the seniors to the juniors. In fact, it is turning pretty violent. Recently, from HSTV College, we had reports coming in where a student seems to be strangling another using his or her head to hit a metal bed, causing injuries. In fact, it caused a lot of panic and stir through social media. Everybody was talking about it. Not only HSTV College, we also had news coming in from Labwani, where machetes wielding male students invaded the school. In fact, people were running in fear. Girls and boys all were running away because they were scared. And these were coming from their own colleagues, their own students, bringing in violence into the school. However, reports coming in say they do not know the actual reason why these students engaged in such, but people come out to also say that it was to avenge a junior because the students had apparently molested him. Well, today we're taking it to the streets. We want to know what Ghanaians think about this bullying happening in our senior high schools. Are we safe or are we not safe? Should the government do something about it, and what should they do exactly?
Our values as Ghanaians, we have lost that value, which is respect. When I was in school, I couldn't walk past elders looking into their face without saying good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. But these days, when you sit down, when the children even walk past, you find out that even some discussions they are having is beyond even you as a parent's knowledge. Sometimes even as I'm sitting with some friends, we used to discuss it. What is the problem about all those things? There are things that we took out from the education. It is like we rejected certain things that we should have accepted. A teacher teaching a child has the right to discipline the child accordingly. But these days, we introduce something called child abuse. But if you go to the Bible, it says, spare not the rod and spoil the child. But all that is fake now because we've been westernized. We as Africans, our values, our community, the way we used to live, if we can revisit that kind of values, I mean, it will help us a long way.
Okay, so concerning these students bullying others, what punishment would you say should be suitable for such students?
The students deserve punishment, but that wouldn't stop the case because the thing itself is out of hand. We will continue to see these kind of things. Just like I'm saying, in the olden days, it is not only my child that I can discipline outside. I can discipline any other person's child that I feel that is going wrong without a question. But today, the child that you are trying to discipline or correct because he's doing something wrong, the father will come after you and it turns to police case, it turns to human rights, it turns to, what is it? A lot of big grammar that we introduce to ourselves. For example, the television stations, I will not exclude you. People who show this telenovela and all those things. We even translate it to the local language. And children who are not supposed to watch those kind of movies, they are watching it. And as it is, a child is growing up to learn. And it doesn't only concern the teacher. That is why we have PTA, Parent Teacher Association. But these days, everything has just become, every school has their own different way of PTA. And every school have their own different way of the way they teach. We make decisions when we don't sit down and evaluate the decisions very well, weigh the advantages or the disadvantages. Those are the problems that confront us now. So what we are seeing now, bullying and all these things, they will not stop until we sit down and do that correction. For the
Quite an interesting one there coming in
yeah.
from parents, and he said it all. You know, all has to do with the discipline starting from home. But now you can't even shout at someone's child now that as compared to our previous times. I want to talk about your work. I know government is helping out, pulling all these things, and it's not easy trying to sensitize the public, educating them on how to have a peaceful coexistence within ourselves. But to make your work easier and looking at this whole economic shaky here and there, do you think the government is helping the National Peace Council enough to make their work easier?
Yes, I think that the government, as for salaries, they are paid and things like that. They are giving us some money. Yeah, you know, we as an institution, we happen to work under the Ministry of Interior. That is not to say that the Ministry of Interior tells us what to do. We are just an agency under them. But we work neutrally on our own. I mean, we are independent. But we take budgetary things from the Ministry of Interior. And so sometimes it causes some constraints. Because, you know, in the interior, there are a lot of big wigs there. We have the police, we have
Immigration
Service, we have NADMO, and all these big guys, all under interior. So the cake is being distributed, you understand. And so sometimes we don't get enough money as we really wish to. but we try to use what we have. But we are really appealing. In fact, we did launch a peace fund, and it's part of our mandate in the Act to be able to launch a peace fund. And we are appealing to various institutions to be able to donate towards our peace fund. Because peace is never cheap.
Never.
And we don't think war is an option. And so if we want to have progress and development in our nation, and we want a rich and a strong democracy, we need to pay for us to have the peace. And so I will appeal that people should donate towards our fund so that we can do more peace work. Apart from that, we also write proposals to donor agencies to try to source funds to be able to run some of these activities. But especially this activity towards the schools, it's a huge project because we need to catch children right from the primary through the secondary, through the tertiary. And we also have to catch youth outside school. And so we need funding. And so we would also like to use this opportunity to call on benevolent people to come and support us to get more funds, because we want to be able to touch every single school. And it takes a lot of money and time. And so please come and support us.
So how do they reach out if they want to, put in funds and all that?
Yes. And so unfortunately, currently, I don't know the number that is attached to this thing. I will get it for you later so that you could be able to mention it. But you can contact us at the National Peace Council. Yes. You can contact us at the National Peace Council. Our office is at Osu. Yes, you can contact us. And then we will show you how you can donate towards the peace fund. It's urgent, please.
We need it very
we need it very badly. Yes.
So, Sam, if I want to take your final words to, what would you want to add?
My final word will still be on the support for the National Peace Council. Sometimes we have written a lot of proposals, but
no response coming.
The responses are very, very low. And Ghanaians are saying that they don't know the work, they don't see the Peace Council doing anything. The truth is, Peace Council has done a lot. Just that, like we always say, it is not everywhere we go that we'll carry the camera around. We do shuttle diplomacy. That's the work of the Peace Council. So most of our work is done private, like off camera.
Off cameras,
But we have done a lot. If we want to outline our activities, I'm sure we will not close anytime soon. The Peace Council has done a lot. And we wish to do a lot. We are eager. We want to do a lot. So we are appealing to our donors, our development agencies, individuals, corporates, Ghana, to support us. We will give the fund, how they will reach out to the fund. We'll furnish you with that information once we are out of here. So you can give to the public to support us. We really need the public support to be able to succeed.
Great. Yeah, and I'm told you can even visit the websites for the NPC so that you just get in touch with them. Let's make this happen, because it's getting very tiring and already stressful. But before you leave, I want to find out from you. I know you've been able to deal with a lot of issues right here in Ghana. Which of them has been the most difficult? Is it the political side, the youth? Which of them? We just want to know.
The political.
The political side, right?
Yes, I think
it's really difficult.
Yes. Okay. I think there are a lot of difficult sides, but obviously some of them do not get the attention as others. One very difficult side of our job is managing conflicts, like the Boko conflict. There was a time our board members, they were traveling to go and sit down to meet some people at Boko. They had to come back. It was too dangerous. As they got closer to Boko, they said, no, you can't come here. You understand? So managing conflicts is very difficult. It's risky. It's even at the risk and peril of your life. I can tell you that in the past election, our board members, our national board, they visited a particular area. They nearly got lynched in trying to resolve an issue. So conflict management is very difficult and very risky. And it had to do with political parties.
Yeah, exactly.
Very risky, just after the elections. And so one of the most difficult things is the conflict management. Yes, and also political parties. But it's also very interesting meeting them because they are very lovely people when you meet them one-on-one. And so I think currently, at least every quarter, the National Peace Council is meeting with the political party heads every quarter to have discussions with them on the way forward, especially as we are getting closer to the elections. Yes.
Okay.
So I think they are doing quite fine. Work is being done in able to encourage, for instance, the NDC to go back to IPAC and things like that behind the scenes. But it's not everything that we bring, to lighten those things, but it's being done. Yes.
Okay, now talking about, before we wrap it up, you know, we have this Niger coup and all that. And Ghanaians, we are very close to these people.
Yes.
What are some of the measures you've been able to put in place not to allow this happening right here in Ghana?
Well, for us, I think that this job is for the national security.
Okay.
When it comes to keeping the security of this nation, it's a national security. We as a Peace Council, we will do our job. We will preach peace. We would, since we have regional offices, each of the regional offices, they are on the regional security councils. And so we have something we call early warning. And so at the region, if they notice that something is about to happen, it is their duty to give an early warning signal to the regional security council so that if they can stop the thing before it happens. You understand? And I think when it's something that they think they can't manage, they have to quickly send it to our office, the head office, and they relay it to the security, ministry, so that they deal with it. Because when we do the soft approach, but when it comes to people fighting, the military will have to go in and calm the place down before you can go in and then mediate.
Great. Yes. All right. So having you today has really made me feel very settled, because as a last week through to now, we've been talking back and back with this whole things happening in our senior high school, and finally looking at what you're saying, it looks like you don't put everything on camera. You're working behind the scenes very well, and I know Ghanaians watching now today, they are doing something to get it. So please, let's supporting us. They made mention they have their website. If you want to reach out to them, just go in there. Let's push in the funds and money. They're calling on stakeholders, they're calling on various institutions. If you think you can support to whatever they are doing, let us make it happen before anything bad happens. Before we go, I don't know if you're going to take our final words from Ms. Jane, if anything you want to add.
My final words would be is that I am happy to have this opportunity to come on set anytime, because we want to increase the visibility of the National Peace Council. We want people say, oh, you've gone to sleep, you just woke up. No, I want to stress that we have never gone to sleep. We are wide awake and we are working behind the scenes. And then I also want to encourage each and every Ghanaian to be peaceful citizens. And then they should also be in expectation that the Peace Council is coming to a place near them to have programs with them.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. So, talking about the website, if you want to go there, it's www.peacecouncil.gov.gh. I'm taking it again, www.peacecouncil.gov.gh. That's gov.gh. And also the numbers we have 0303 919 308, 0303 919 308, and all social media platforms, from Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want to reach out to them. Please, let's go in there and support this great cause. So I've been having a conversation with Semefa Asimenu. She's the Principal Administrative Manager for National Peace Council, and also Mrs. Janet Sane Kuma, Capacity Director and Capacity Development on Outreach. So we've had an interesting conversation today, and I know definitely our thoughts and all the things we've been thinking is going to be settled, because definitely they are working, and we as Ghanaians, we are all peace actors in our homes, in our schools, in our churches, the mosques, our traditional areas, wherever we find ourselves. Let's all be peace ambassadors, and definitely we're going to have a peaceful nation and enjoy a safe and sound environment. So quickly, let's go for a 10. When we come back, the show continues. Stay tuned.